Hey guys, so I'm going to be doing a reading about the Karen Read and John O'Keefe trial to try to determine what happened that night that John O'Keefe passed away. If you don't know anything about the trial or case, Karen Read was John O'Keefe's girlfriend, and she is accused of hitting him with her car and killing him. And she's claiming that the Boston police framed her for his murder, and that the party that she left John at that night at one of the other Boston police officers' home was the people at the party are responsible for his murder. So I'll just jump right in. So one of the things about John O'Keefe's relationship with Karen Read is, from these cards, what I'm getting is that they had a kind of codependent relationship where I do see that there was a good relationship between the two of them, that there was love there between them, but it being right next to the devil shows me that there was some codependency there, and I do believe that that is a little bit in reference to the children. So John O'Keefe was I think he had adopted his sister's kids because his sister and her sister's husband had passed away, so he was the sole custodian for those two children. And what I feel from these cards is that John O'Keefe and Karen Read, that there was love between them, but it was a difficult relationship. But then there is a little part of the situation where they can't quite let go of each other, and it's a little bit because she was very much entwined in his life with the kids. So a little bit it's like he didn't feel like he could necessarily let go of her because he needed the help. He needed help with the children, and didn't want to lose that. So, there would be fights and things, but they were always come back together. And I do feel like that Karen did enjoy kind of being a mother figure to the children, and that she wanted that role. And I think it just caused tension, it's sort of like you need the help, you want the help, but then you don't want that person to overstep any kind of familial boundaries. And there could have been a little bit of that going on where he felt like you're overstepping, but at the end of the day, that they weren't ready to just call it quits. Now, on the other side of this is John's relationship with his coworkers. Now, what I do see is that from these cards, John was a little bit of an outsider when it comes to his coworkers. And I think what he was dealing with these people is, I think he witnessed a lot of nepotism. So the children of his coworkers, I think, felt like they could get away with whatever they wanted. Like they were above the law in a certain way. And so I think that was difficult for him to deal with. I also think that that there was some sort of corruption going on with those police officers. that John witnessed and or knew about, and he was not particularly okay with it. From these cards, I kind of get that there could have been some sort of threat to expose, any sort of corruption that he might have witnessed. And it's, there's definitely something about money, and something to do with children. So there's a little bit of this sort of intertwining of a couple different reasons. I'm also getting that there was a little element here of cheating in the relationship with John. So Karen Read, as we know, was texting Brian Higgins. So, we have these cards all in line with each other. So, to me, that's kind of saying that there was some cheating going on. And so that night, I think when he walked into that party, it was sort of a perfect storm, because I think, had to deal with issues with some sort of corruption, the relationship with Karen, and the nepotism involved with these people. So I think that, and I do definitely think that he entered the house and, and that Karen left. I do believe that he got into a fight when he entered the household. And I think it was about some sort of confrontation from a male figure, and it had to do with a couple of different things: exposing of corruption, the relationship with Karen Read, and something to do with children. So whoever this man is, they had a real bone to pick with John, and they were not going to let it go that night. I think also what happened was that, he was starting to get into a fight with one man, and then other people joined in. So this is sort of, this obviously is a card of kind of fighting off a mob of people. And so I do believe that John initially got into some sort of fight with one person, and, maybe verbal, and then it turned into him against a larger group of people. With the Devil card here, it suggests that there's cover-up. So, people working together to cover up something. And this is kind of the card of sneaky behavior. So those things are all in line as well. What I am also getting is that there was a female involved. Could have been this man's wife, because it's the King and Queen of Wands. So that kind of indicates to me there's some sort of familial bond between them. And this woman would be involved in the cover-up, and helping to protect children. This is one of the big things that I'm seeing here, is protect the children at all costs. So there could have been something to do with the fight, that maybe the final blow was administered by one of the children, something like that. Could be the case. One of the most important things here is, if you see this, we have a dog here, and then we have this guy's arm is, sticking out. So that kind of indicates to me that he was attacked by the family dog. This is part of some evidence that is highly contested, but a lot of people do believe that the scratches that were on his arm were done from a dog, and I do believe that that is the case from, this card kind of explains that. I also do believe that the reason why nobody came out of that house the next morning, the Alberts never came out of their house where John O'Keefe's body was found on their front lawn. So that seems very suspicious. And I do believe it's because at the very least, I would think that that Brian Albert would have had physical signs on his body of a fight. So, he could have had a black eye or something like that, but there's something that he didn't want people to be able to see on his physical body. So, bruising, blood, he could have had cut or, something to that effect. I do believe that that is why he didn't come out of the house that next morning. And it was probably something definitely on his face that was very visible, that would have indicated that he had been in a fight. So I do believe that Karen Read is being framed, and that John O'Keefe was in a fight with these people. And he, like I said, was kind of an outsider to this group, not necessarily, in their clique, more like acquaintance to them. And so I don't think that there was a lot of good feelings towards him. That I do believe that they kind of viewed him as somebody who was not gonna they viewed him as somebody that as a threat, basically, because what I got was that he was there could have been some sort of threat to expose whatever corruption that they have going on. And I asked the cards if Karen Read is going to be exonerated, and I do believe from these cards that she will not be convicted. Could be labeled another mistrial, but I just am seeing that that she would not be going to jail. So that's my reading for Karen Read. Pretty interesting stuff, But anyways, if you guys have any other true crime cases you'd like me to do, or any other celebrities, just let me know. All right, thanks. Bye.